Hello, everyone. Let us go through a quick demo of MyBiz workflow platform. This is a no-code, low-code digitization platform for enterprise business software. So as you know, building custom software for the business is costly, time-consuming, and complex. We are trying to solve that problem. If you are someone who understands the business, either the business owner or a business analyst who understands the business policies that are happening in the business, you should be able to build software on a platform very easily. It just takes maybe 20, 30 minutes, an hour, maybe a few hours. So you could build it out on the same day and also, use it right away. There's no build or deployment steps here. And let's say if you're a non-tech founder, and if you have your niche defined already, and you have a domain already available for you that you're registered, you could deploy this whole instance on your domain on day one itself and start building your software right away at that instant. And it takes you, like I said, hours or days to build complex software with a ton of features in no time, right? So let's get started. So what you see here is my own task dashboard. So as you see, there is a project process or a task for that process here. There's an opportunity, one more project, user story, user story. If I click on any of these, what you see is you see a set of steps in that process. The project process has inception, business requirements, project plan, high-level design, etc. Right? So of course, if you click on any of the steps, you're gonna see different data fields for that step. And if you see here, for example, you're seeing some custom data fields here. And there's always there's some common stuff here, which is like task summary, status, effort summary, stuff like that. So we'll come back to that. So this itself, I mean, this is the main screen where you actually kind of go and take care of your work, whatever work you're doing, for example, right? So what this software is doing is helping you design these different steps and processes and assign to people. Like in this case, I am the one who's performing the steps, so I am assigned this task, so only I can see it, right? And also, people could be reviewers of that work, could also be approvers for that work, for example. Even that is also kind of, that feature is also available, right? So let's try to go back here and see how to design this, right? So I'm going to go to setup. Let's use the project maybe, right? So let's go to setup. Instead of creating a new, I will choose something that's already existing. There's a project here. So I just go edit process definition will start here. Generally speaking, when you start new, you just go and give this name for the process name, project, and then give the description and then save, right? I'm calling it as a top level workflow. It could be child workflow. There's a little difference between those two. We'll, not go in details there. But let me just show you how to, set up your process. Step number one, we said inception. You saw the inception on the leftmost corner. This is where you put it. And then you say, what is this really? What is this inception step? You define that. And you give a role. Who is doing this? Who is responsible for this? Name of that role over here. And you would need an email of that person, right? And say, for example, over here, name, role name, and the name of the person, and the email address of that person. Of course, you could go back. There's settings there where you could actually go and add many more performers for that role, because in Teams, you have many people doing the same role, for example. This is just to get started, right? Over here in this particular screen. And then you say, is there going to be someone who's going to review this, for example? If yes, do it. If there's somebody who's going to approve, yes, of course. Then you say, either no custom data or there's some data. You just click on this button and keep adding fields, what fields you want. So now, once you do that, you have pretty much set up one full step. Of course, there's some options here to kind of, help in rendering and, the screen, giving a layout pretty much where do you want these fields to be available, for example, right? And there's a routing option. And there are some options over here that would help you that will help you integrate this screen with your external API, right? You can build an API and then interact with this screen. So you save this and then go to the next step. and then repeat that same process. So this would take you maybe, like I said, maybe an hour or less to build this whole process, for example, for the project. Now, you don't have to just build one, you build 10, 20. I mean, in an enterprise, you have so many policies. So you just go and build them out and create a suite of policies and start using them. Um, and uh, and the features here, of course, like you saw the dashboard for the open tasks. As soon as you mark it complete, it actually clears the dashboard, right? And there are other things in regards to this, which is, okay, let me kind of talk first about the workflow system, right? So when I go in here, let me choose one more, like user story here, for example. And if I mark it complete over here, for example, what happens is that this step is step number one, right? And so when I mark this completed, the workflow is gonna kind of, clear this task for me because I'm doing this task one. And the person who's in the task two would actually get that next step assigned in his dashboard so they could actually take action, right? So that way, everybody knows what they're working on, and the workflow works. And this workflow status types are all custom. You could always kind of, you can always customize these, and you can mark one of these as the terminal step. That is what the last step, right? That's what triggers the transition to the next step. And of course, every step has a place where you could actually go and upload files, right? And all this data is all secure. Only I could see it because I am the performer. But then you have the option of other, let's say a manager or someone else who wants to see it, get a observer status so they could just see what is going on. That way, it's all transparent. Uh, there is no need for a project manager to spend time trying to create reports to show the upper management who is doing what and what is the percentage of work, for example. Because on this platform, there's transparency, and also there are reports available which could easily be presented to the upper management or anybody else who wants to see what is going on, what is the status, where we are. So these are the tasks over here. But then if you go over here, this is about the processes, right? If I go in here, for example, and choose okay, here is the open policy dashboard, right? Just like open tasks, there are open policies over here. So there are two projects which are open. I chose project over here. I mean, you could choose anything else over here, for example. And if I click on this, it's gonna give you, of course, very basic information about that, and then start date, end date, things of that nature, and also the status at the process level, which is again fully customizable, right? And let's go and choose. Okay, there's one more, other link over here that actually shows you on this process, there are different steps, who is doing what, and what is the percentage of work being done so far. And you could reassign that task to somebody else. As you see, the task owner is myself for all of these tasks, which is not what you see generally. You'll see, different people doing different things, of course. And it's also saying that it has a lot of child process instances, right? Like there's a user story tied to it, there is a defect tied to it, two defects actually, some Scrum meetings as well. I mean, I thought maybe even the Scrum meetings and let's say action items and anything that you do, you could digitize everything pretty much so it's all under the same umbrella, so it's not lost, right? So this platform helps you with that. You could organize your data, your processes, and everything that relates to it as under the same umbrella. And since you could easily add any process, like an hour or two, why not digitize everything? There's your idea, right? So there are other features also, right? For example, let's see. Um, there is this Kanban, stuff like that. And of course, we could, I don't want to take too long here, but then, this is all pretty much showing uh, what state each of these project is in. And there could be other, let's see, there is some search. There is also some process triggers, stuff like that. I mean, the hierarchy, for example, here is going to show you, I think, let's see if it has something. Uh, anyway, so if there's no data, I'll just skip it. But then if I come here, for example, in the setup is where you can have, set up everything. And this is the place where like this screen here lets you, customize these status types for the process itself or to the individual steps themselves over here. these are customer here, for example. I could always start deleting and then kind of adding new and then save them, right? And what have you. And you can associate users over here and give them different roles. And templates, of course, you could build and package these things and make them available for somebody else to come and say, I like this as GLC that you have. For Agile, I could just kind of go and import this, for example, right? So that is possible. And charts, of course, there's a lot of charting. You could see the capacity of individual members doing work, for example, where they are, if they have capacity to take work. Again, the routing aspect of this takes care of this. If you assign, let's say, a task, user story to a developer, for example, in Agile workflow, it's going to find somebody who has capacity to work on this, right? Because they're really entering their hours as to, the estimates, how much time they need and what they have planned so far in terms of hours, right? And let's see. And of course, you could see different kinds of, uh, uh, charts here, right? So I'll limit it over here till here. And then, and if you have more questions, you can reach out to me, reach back to me, ask me more questions. There are a lot more features here. I just scratched the surface. The whole idea is that you could build your software in a matter of minutes or hours, not weeks, months, or years. If you want to digitize from end to end, use this platform, build out everything that you want to build out. Digitize everything. Don't leave out anything to emails and spreadsheets and this and that. No, just build out totally everything pretty much end to end, and then increase the efficiency and streamline your process. Thank you very much.